My goal here in teaching people is to teach them as much as I can the traditional hand-done way to do this. Because, you know, for one thing, if it was done this way 2,000 years ago, it can still be done this way. And another thing, that doesn't require a lot of expensive machinery to produce something. So if you learn to do it by hand first, then as your situation improves and you can afford to add the mechanical shortcuts, then, you know, that's all to the good. But it's better to know how to do it by hand first, I think. So myself, a lot of them are 100+ years old. Some of my larger sets of tongs actually came from my dad's shop, which, like I said, he bought out the guy that apprenticed him, but he had bought them from the Car Lumber Company. My grandfather on my mother's side, which I never met him, he died when she was a little girl, but he was the town blacksmith and the carpenter in Pine Log, out right near the folk school out there in Brasstown. So I got it from that side. And then my dad was a metal worker. He wasn't a blacksmith, but when he started out learning, he apprenticed with a blacksmith. But in the late 30s, early 40s, they were all interested in this new arc welding and all that, so that was what he really wanted to learn. So, but he, when the guy that had apprenticed him died, and he bought a lot of the equipment from his widow, so we had the anvil and a lot of the hammers and top tools and stuff hanging around the shop the whole time I was growing up. And when I got interested in blacksmithing, all I had to do was build a forge, and I had a lot of the other stuff already on hand to get started playing with it. So most of it at this point, I can kind of disconnect my mind and just do it. You know, I've been doing this for a little over 20 years, so you get a real feel for when something's been in the fire long enough, and you know how far you can take it at each heat. It becomes intuitive after a while. That's why you want to keep your metal kind of horizontal in the fire and not stick it down in the fire, which is what every beginning student tries to do.
Does that not get hot on your hand?
No, not back here.
Yeah.
Chunk of our history here in the mountains, we were kind of cut off from developments in the rest of the country. You know, there weren't any really good roads into the mountains till the late 20s, early 30s. You know, so when Kephart discovered us back in the early 1900s, you know, very little had changed since colonial times here. I just think it's a shame that we've become so homogenized with the television culture and everything that, you know, kids today, they don't sound like they're from here. You know, can't pick them out from anywhere else in the country, really. Scottish for black knife, and black being hidden. The only time they actually wore it in the top of the sock was when they were going somewhere on a peaceful mission and they wanted everybody to see that all their weapons were visible. But normally it would be tucked away somewhere where you could get to it if you needed it.